and the rest is history. Hi Keepers, what's up? It's me, Willa, and today I am here for my second video on the channel since my return to Children of Light. And now you can see my face because last week I started things off with a Draw My Life video, so now it's time for us to talk face to face. So, today I thought I'd talk to you guys about the story of how I became a keeper. How did I audition to become a DHI? How did I start finding out that the keepers were going to be a thing after I'd become a DHI? What was that whole story? Because I thought it would be fun for you guys to know that. So, let's just go with it. So, I talked about this a little bit in my Draw My Life video, but I didn't go into detail. So, when I found out about the auditions to be a DHI, I was finishing up the 7th grade in between summer of 7th and 8th grade. So I was 13. I was newly 13 because I turned 13 that April, and I saw this advertisement probably end of April, beginning of May. And Disney was basically doing a casting call for incoming 8th graders. They wanted specifically incoming 8th graders, so 12 and 13-year-olds who were going to be entering the 8th grade. So I had done some plays and musicals with my middle school theater troupe. That would be in 6th and 7th grade. I did a little bit of community theater. I always really liked theater, and I liked acting and music. I was in the band. So performing was my thing. And I was just scrolling online one day, and I saw this casting call, and they were advertising it on Disney Channel with some commercials too, because this was a big thing, right? So, I thought it would be cool because, you know, I always loved Disney. I loved going to the parks. Me and my family always had annual passes. I would go whenever I could, go with my friends. And this sounded like the coolest opportunity ever, just to act, to get to be working in Disney, get to be a face for Disney, because, you know, also, I was 13, and I loved the Disney Channel, and, like, how cool did it sound to be a Disney celebrity? That sounded like the coolest thing ever to every 13-year-old, right? Okay, so, I thought it would be cool to audition for this. Now, of course, I really did not think I was going to get the part. And of course, nobody thinks they're going to get the part. It's a 1 in a million shot. But I guess I really didn't have any confidence in my performing skills to really get the shot. And while I did feel like I had some acting training, because I did take acting classes in my 7th grade year, I just didn't know if they were looking for good actors or whether they were looking for good personalities, and I really just didn't feel like there was anything special enough about my personality or my look or my story to get me hired and picked for this DHI thing. So I really didn't know if I was going to audition, as cool as it sounded. But I was talking to my parents about it at dinner one night, and my dad actually encouraged me to audition to be a DHI. So after a lot of talking with him, I decided that I was going to audition. And it was a multi-step process, like most professional auditions would be. So I filmed this video a lot like this one, and I was just talking about why I would be a good fit to be a holographic host in the Magic Kingdom. And it involved talking about why I loved Disney and how much I loved acting, and that was all I talked about, like pretty much everything I told you guys. It was kind of like a mixture of this and my Draw My Life video, where I'm like, hey, I do archery, hey, I do acting, hey, I love Disney, pick me. More enthusiastic than that, of course. But I didn't realize, like, until after I sent it in, that I had not mentioned any distinguishing characteristics about myself, had not shown them my personality, hadn't really told any jokes. I did not realize this until after I sent the video in. So I thought that was it. I thought, of course, this is over. I'm not gonna get it. And then lo and behold, about a month later, I get a call from Disney, and they wanted me to come in. The next step in the audition process after I sent in that video and after I got the call from Disney was I had to go in and basically, like, prepare a few monologues, and I went in to casting, where they would normally do, like, the auditions for character performers, stuff like that. So I go to casting, and there's, like, hundreds of kids there. I don't even remember if I saw the other keepers at this initial audition. I might have, but I know there were multiple sessions of this stage of the auditions because thousands of kids had sent in videos, and then they picked a few hundred from that for us to read the monologues. So I don't even remember if I saw anybody else at these auditions, but I went in and I read Luis's monologue from The Fantastics. I don't know if you guys know that monologue, but it's a really famous audition monologue. It's short and sweet, and it's got this really quirky vibe to it, and I wanted to show them that side of my personality, and I also felt like that was a monologue that I had down pat. Then that was that stage of the audition process. And then, about a month later, I got another call, and they wanted me to come in again. And this time, I went to casting again, and there were still a lot of kids, but there were significantly less kids. And this time, they had us reading lines. So they gave us specific lines and monologues about the Disney park, similar to what we would eventually have to be reading to be the Disney hosts. So I read that, they gave us the lines, and then we went in rounds. And there were a few rounds of that. There were a few rounds, a few sets of lines, and in between each round, they would be making cuts. And I made it to the final round of the day. Again, I don't remember if I saw the others. You know, I was so excited, so nervous. It was such a blur. And we made it to the final round of the day. They said, thank you, we'll call you. And then a couple of weeks after that, they called me again, and they said, hey, you know, you made it to the final round of auditions. You made it to the screen testing. So I went to casting again, for every stage of this audition, I had to go to the casting building, except for that initial video that I sent in. So I went to the casting building, and this is when there were probably about a few dozen of us, maybe even less, and I definitely saw the other keepers there. And they gave us lines for the DHIs, and we had to read them on camera, and they filmed us. We did all kinds of things. We also did, a little bit of a movement audition, so we did some movement, not a dance routine, but similar to it, just so they knew that we would be able to move well and like do big gestures, because we were gonna have to be moving in the parks. Then when they gave us more lines, we did on-screen tests with not only ourselves, but with the other keepers. And they put us like in multiple sets with multiple people there to read with another person or a couple of more people. So I actually did not end up reading with all the keepers that day. I saw them there, but I didn't meet them all because I didn't get to read with everybody there. I read with a lot of people, but I think out of the keepers, I think I only read with Charlene. And at this point, I was floored that I had made it this far, but I still did not think I was gonna get it. So they said again, thank you, we'll call you. And, you know, one day, it was like the end of the summer now. I was getting ready to start 8th grade, and I get a call, and they said, you know, hey, this is Joe from Disney Imagineering, and we want you to be one of the 5 holographic tour guide hosts. Guys, I'm sorry, I get so giddy talking about it now because, like, obviously my life changed at that moment. So, I mean, my life changed at that moment, but I didn't know how much it was gonna change because, of course, I was so excited. Now I was gonna be in the Disney parks permanently, but this was supposed to be, like, a one-and-done thing. So as you guys know from the books that Ridley has published, we went to Hollywood Studios, and we did a few days of filming where we did the recording of our lines and the filming of our movement, and this is when I met the other keepers. This is when I met Charlene and Dell and Terry and Finn. And, you know, we talked a little bit. We would, like, hang out on our lunch breaks. I would talk to Charlene because when I got there, she was the other girl in the room. And Charlie was kind of, like, intimidating to me when I first got there because she, you know, they had her dressed up like a cheerleader, too. And like I said, I didn't have the best experience with other kids in school. But Charlene was always really, really nice to me from the start. And, even though I didn't know she was going to become, like, my best friend, I did feel comfortable with her, so I would have lunch with her sometimes. I talked to Dell a lot. Right from the get-go, Dell and I were really close. We would have lunch together while we were filming. I think one time we went and got ice cream after we were done with filming for the day. And really, I was just close with everybody. I talked to Finn alone a few times. I talked to Terry alone a few times. And I really did feel comfortable and safe around everybody, and I liked everybody, but, you know, I wasn't thinking about whether I felt comfortable around them because I didn't think these people were going to become my best friends and my future bridal party and my family and everything like that. But I did like them, and like I said, I would hang out with Dell and talk to Charlene. But this was supposed to be one and done. You know, after we filmed it, we knew we were going to be doing press stuff, so that we were probably going to see each other again. But we didn't know how much we were going to see each other again, because at this point we didn't know how much it was going to take off either. We didn't know whether these holograms were going to be a success or not. We didn't know if they were going to end up being limited time magic. So after all the DHI filming was done, we kind of parted our ways. I think I exchanged numbers with Charlene and Dell. Definitely exchanged numbers with Dell, I remember that. And I went home. And that was supposed to be it. So it was probably like a week or so after we had finished the filming. I went to sleep one night, and as you guys can probably guess what happens next, I woke up in the Magic Kingdom. And I definitely thought I was dreaming, but, you know, I wake up and I see Wayne sitting on the bench. And basically what happened to me is what you guys read about happening to Finn in the books, because Ridley only wrote about Finn in the books, like, to save time. But it did happen to me too. It happened to all of us, obviously. I just remember Wayne called me Isabella, and I thought that was weird because, like, I hadn't advertised myself with my first name. I always said in the videos that I sent in and in all the audition forms, I listed myself as Willa Angelo. Because that's what I wanted to go by, especially if it was going to be like a stage name that I needed to have. I did not want to go by my first name, which I never used. But Wayne called me Isabella, and I thought it strange that he knew that. And I think the first time I went into the parks, I saw Belle walking through, and who else did I see? I saw Belle. Oh, I saw Mary and Bert, yeah. But again, I thought it was a dream, and it only happened to me, like, once or twice, and Wayne was only there the one time, so I definitely thought I was dreaming. Until one day, I get a message from Charlene on VMK. You know, I guess we didn't exchange numbers because she would have just texted me otherwise, but I was on VMK one day, and I get a message from Charlene, and she's like, hey, you know, it's good to talk to you again, whatever, but she's like, hey, have you been having weird dreams? And I'm like, what? And then I find out that, you know, Charlene has been having these dreams in the Magic Kingdom too. And what she tells me is that they're not a dream. I thought at first, of course, this is nuts. There's no way this is true. But I decided to give it a shot because, you know, if someone else was having these dreams, there had to be some kind of credibility behind it. And I texted Dell, actually, and he told me, like, you know, yeah, like, Finn and Charlene and I were in the Magic Kingdom together. So at this point, I'm freaked out. I'm, like, trying not to show my parents how freaked out I am. But I went to sleep, and I woke up in the Magic Kingdom with all the other keepers, and, well, you guys know what happens from there. So that is my story of auditioning to become a DHI, my story of after becoming a DHI, becoming a keeper. It's simple, but it means a lot to me, because being a keeper has been the biggest and best and most significant part of my life. That's it for this week, everybody. Remember, if you want to keep up with all of our adventures and our videos, you can follow us on Instagram at children.of.light. And if you want to keep up with me and my everyday life personally, I don't know why, but if you do, you can follow me at willow_tree_Angelo. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to keep getting notified about when we post our videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we also talk about when we post our videos on the Instagram. So if you follow our Instagram, we always post about when we have a new video up, whichever one of us puts a new video up. So you can go ahead and do that. Also, you can please let me know in the comments what kind of videos you guys want to see me do. Coming back to Children of Light, I do have some ideas of what videos I'm going to do for you guys, but I want to hear from you what you want to see from me and where you want to see my side of the channel go. I have some ideas, but I'd love to hear from you guys too. Alright, well, thanks for joining me today. Bye!